Hello everyone, my name is Shane, and in this video we're going to be doing an unboxing, and I'm going to give my first impressions on the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. This tablet is available at the time of this video, so I'll have some links to it in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The retail price is $1,200. It comes in two different colors, this gray and a silver color we're going to be checking out here today. Comes in three different configurations. We have a base model of 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabyte storage, an upgraded 512 gigabyte storage model, and a max spec 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte storage. But I'm super excited to check this one out today. We have Samsung's thinnest tablet ever made. We have a newly designed S Pen. There's a new Samsung DeX experience to check out on this tablet and an upgraded processor to go with it. Shout out to Samsung for sending out this review unit ahead of time. On top, we have our device. Inside the box, here's our first look at the newly designed S Pen. Wow, this feels way different than any previous S Pen. We have a hexagonal design on this, so flat on all the sides here. We also have a new tip on this newly designed S Pen. It is definitely a different look compared to the previous versions. Here's a side-by-side with last year's S Pen of the Tab S10 Ultra, so a completely different S Pen here. We'll see if this larger one holds up any better. You can see after 1 year of use on my Tab S10 Ultra S Pen that the tip does look to be a bit worn down. So we'll see how it holds up here on the new S Pen, but the same plastic feel on this. We also have a SIM ejector tool in the box, a little bit of paperwork, a lengthy USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the star of the show here, the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. First impressions immediately out of the packaging, very similar look and feel to last year's Tab S10 Ultra. However, there are some physical changes worth mentioning. We no longer have the magnetic slot on the back of the Tab S11 Ultra. So on the Tab S10 Ultra here, magnetic slot there, perfectly fine for your S Pen. Now on this Tab S11 Ultra, there is no slot up here to put your S Pen into. You can see it wants to stick to the top of the tablet. So this has been attaching for me in the upper right corner of the tablet instead. Here's a look at it from the back here. You can see your amount of connectivity here. Seems to be pretty strong magnetic connection. Shaking the tablet around, you can see it's not coming off. And also, while we're still on the back here, we have our connection pins on the back of the tablet now. They're not on the bottom anymore compared to the Tab S10 Ultra, so we're going to have new accessories and keyboards for this generation. Taking a look at the thickness finally, we have a 5.1 millimeter thickness here. It's Samsung's thinnest tablet that they've ever made. This is now consistent with the 13-inch iPad Pro. This also has a 5.1 millimeter thickness. So when this iPad came out, that was the most hyped up aspect about it, how thin it was, 5.1 millimeters. We now have that same level of thinness on this Ultra Tab with a much larger display. So there is a slightly lighter weight with this slimming down. We're at 698 grams on my scale. Compare that to last year's Tab S10 Ultra, 734 grams. So it's actually a 36 gram reduction. So we have what is actually a noticeable weight reduction here on this large tab. As far as our camera setup, the same as last year, the 13 megapixel primary lens and an 8 megapixel ultra wide. And also another change to this Tab S11 Ultra, we now just have one camera on the front. It's the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. So we do have a little bit of a redesign here compared to the Tab S10 Ultra. It had the two cameras on the front. For me personally, I always used the ultra wide on the front facing anyways, and that is what stays here, the 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. Taking a physical tour, Samsung actually changed up some of the buttons on this Tab S11 Ultra as well. So we have the power button and volume rockers swapped. Also on the top, we have two mics. We have our micro SD card slot, which in here you can fit one micro SD card up to 2 terabytes. On the left, we have two of our 4 speakers, another mic, and on the right, we have our other 2 speakers and our Type-C port capable of 45 watt super fast charge 2.0. And then there are still some connection points on the bottom here for Samsung's keyboard accessories. But let's go ahead and boot up the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. And it's been about a day and a half now since I first started using this Tab S11 Ultra, so I'm definitely ready to share some of my first impressions with you guys. Starting with the biometrics, getting into the tablet. On the side here, we have a fingerprint scanner, gets you in pretty quickly. It's not Samsung's fastest fingerprint scanners like in their flagship phones, but still gets you in just as quick. We also have very good face recognition on this. Really gets you in right away every time I've looked at it. And once you're in, you'll be greeted by the 14.6-inch display. Still the same great large display here on the Tab S11 Ultra as we had on all the previous generations. They've all been the same screen size, but with this Tab S11 Ultra slimming down a little bit, it does feel slightly lighter in the hand. I wouldn't say it's a drastic difference compared to the Tab S10 Ultra, but that's not to say it's still a very much appreciated benefit. Now, with the thinner 5.1 millimeters, I was wondering the overall rigidity of this. Overall, after kind of bending it a little bit just to test it out, it does feel pretty sturdy overall. It is honestly pretty impressive to see Samsung continue to develop this ultra-sized tablet, because at least for me personally, the Ultra tabs have been the ones I've been opting for, especially over the last few years, with these getting very good battery life, very good performance, and being able to do anything on this tablet really enjoyably, whether it's watching content or productivity work. It's just able to do so many things much easier than other tablets on the market. And in my first day of heavy usage of this tablet, I'm once again really enjoying this larger display size. The 14.6-inch screen size on this allows you to do anything, which just makes it a really good all-in-one device for me personally. Writing notes is very enjoyable for me in the Samsung Notes app on this ultra-sized tab. You just have so much room to work with all the different menu options and just writing out all your thoughts in a large canvas. Talk about the new S Pen experience here in a minute. I've been watching a lot of content on this. It's an absolute joy with this large display. I'm also liking some of the changes brought to Samsung DeX this year. So you can see there, I just changed to Samsung DeX. I didn't have to go into some other menu. So with that simple swipe down, I'm in Samsung DeX now. I can open up some other apps really easily. What I'm also liking initially is that if you have a busy window and you don't want to get rid of these, open some other things, you can go into your multitasking now and you have 4 different desktop options for Samsung DeX. So you can have things open in the other ones, of course, and keep those saved. Come back to a previous one if you want to. And then also all of your other regularly running apps outside of Samsung DeX are right beside all these desktop windows. So then I can go ahead, switch back over to the standard tablet mode just like that. If I go back to my home screen here, you can see I'm back to the standard tablet mode with the larger icons on the bottom. But when you're inside any app, you're going to have this icon here and you can just so easily swipe down. I now have that alongside all my other windows here in Samsung DeX. Resizing windows in this is very smooth and easy. You can see here, can go ahead on the sides, do a little split screen action. Very smooth experience here no matter what you're doing. So it's been a really enjoyable software experience here so far. I'm also really liking the drop down menus. No matter where you swipe down, you just get a little bubble here for your notifications. We also have the swipe down from the upper right. But it is nice that menus and things are not just taking up the whole entire top half of such a large display here. Feels like it's optimized for this tablet. You still do have your conventional side panel here, as we've always had, but just a lot of different ways to interact with this device, which I love. Taking a closer look at the new S Pen, I will say, even after a day of writing, I am still getting used to this new design here. It's just totally the opposite of what we've had with Samsung S Pens over the years, just a round finish with just one flat side on it, so a very comfortable feel in the hand on these rounded designs from past generations. And definitely more of a sharper feel now with all the flat sides on this new S Pen. But I will say the writing experience has been very good with this new tip on here. I found it is definitely larger than on the previous generations. There was always such a small, fine tip on these previous gens. I wonder if these tips were wearing out for a lot of people and maybe Samsung wanted to go to something a little more sturdier. But overall, I've still been really enjoying the writing experience on this with the S Pen, a very smooth response time as expected. It is very enjoyable. I cannot understate how enjoyable it is to do just all of your note writing and whatever you need to be doing with a stylus within this app here. It is nice to use the button on this for various things, such as opening up this pen menu on the Notes app, holding down to erase. So all of our same features as before are still here. So still a similar S Pen experience overall, just the physical changes. It is still very much on the lighter side, which I do actually appreciate. I actually find myself writing with Samsung's tablets more in their S Pens compared to the Apple Pencil and the iPad, because the Apple Pencil actually does have a fair amount of weight to it. compared to what is just a lot more lighter on these S Pens, which just adds to the overall very smooth and enjoyable writing experience here. And if you don't like this new design, you can still just use any of the previous generation S Pens for these Galaxy tabs. These all work the same and have the same magnetic mounting points and things. So we'll see if I get used to the new setup here in due time, but initially just feels a little less intuitive than it did before. So I'm going to be making some more videos on this in the coming week once I have a proper case and keyboard to go with it to give my full assessment on it. But in this video, I'm still going to share a couple more talking points, performance, and battery life. So as far as the performance on this now has the Dimensity 9400 Plus processor. Overall, from what I've shown so far in the video, it's very smooth performance on this device, no matter what it is you're looking to do. And been getting some nice smooth performance here in my first hour of gameplay. So been really enjoying the experience on this, really smooth. Sometimes the shot animation in this game can make other devices lag, whereas it's very smooth on this in real time. So I know some people tend to ask, why doesn't this have the Snapdragon processors? But I've found in the last couple of years that these Dimensity MediaTek processors have been very good for everything I've thrown at them. Jumping back into previous apps, going to be absolutely no problem. Battery life has also been very good on this in my initial testing. I still have 17% battery left on my first battery cycle, and I have 9 hours of screen on time so far. Granted, this was a lot of lighter usage. Watching YouTube for 2 hours only drained 10% of my battery. Doing a lot of writing in Samsung Notes, a lot of these tasks were barely draining the battery at all. I did do an hour of gaming. We still have the same great ultra wide lens here. You can capture so much into your frame. I don't have the tablet all too far away from me, but still a ton in the frame here. We are still capped at 4K 30 filming on this, but overall looking very good in my initial testing. So overall, first impressions, I'm very impressed with this Tab S11 Ultra initially. It is definitely similar in a lot of ways to the previous Tab S10 Ultra, just some minor changes here with some of the button changes. I'm still getting used to the buttons being swapped, getting used to the new S Pen design. I'm definitely appreciating the slightly lighter weight, even though it is still a pretty bulky tablet in the hand. I am definitely looking forward to using this with some sort of case, so stay tuned for some upcoming videos so that I can give my full assessment of this device, because I believe it is not just a tablet only. It really is more for desktop and lap usage. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing, because like I said, I'm going to be making some more videos on this very soon. I'll have links in the description to whatever Samsung's current deals are for when you're watching this video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.